Hi, in this video I will introduce another very important concept after the highest common factor, which is the lowest common multiple. So you may wonder, why lowest common multiple, not the lowest common factor? Why highest common factor, not the highest common multiple? So the answer is very easy. The lowest common factor is always 1. The highest common multiple actually is not a number. It is a concept which is called infinity. Let's take a look. This question, lowest common multiple, is also a question in this year's GCSE exam 2H paper. And it will be in each year's GCSE math exams, no matter you sit the foundation tier or the higher tier. Highest common factor, lowest common multiple are always the must-have topics. So how to calculate lowest common multiple? There is a formula I will give to you. You can see in the picture. The lowest common multiple can be calculated using the two numbers, the product of two numbers. Product means the result of a multiplication divided by the highest common factor of the two numbers. So of course there are many other ways to do this type of question. You can use Venn diagram, you can use factor tree, you can use factor rainbow, whatever. But the formula I give to you, if you can remember, you won't be able to learn this anywhere, not in all the classrooms, maybe a few, but not all the classrooms. So if you can remember this formula, you can solve the problem easily. In this year's 2026 GCSE Mathematics Exam 2H, Paper 2H, the first question asks you to find lowest common multiple between 12 and 34. Before you dive yourself into the calculation, draw the Venn diagram, or just start sketching the factor tree, you can simply find the highest common factor between 12 and 34. Since 34 has only 4 factors, namely 1 times 34, 2 times 17, and 17 is a prime number, therefore you cannot factorize more. Only 4 factors. So leave these 4 factors there and check 12. And the 12 has more than 4 factors, namely 6 factors. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. The only common factor other than 1 you can find here is 2. Therefore, the highest common factor for between 12 and 34 is just 2. Therefore, you can calculate the lowest common multiple between 12 and 34 using 12 times 34 in the numerator of the fraction divided by 2, which is the highest common factor between these two numbers. But before you try to multiply 12 with 34, you should do the division first. 12 divided by 2 give you 6. Lowest common multiple should be just 6 times 34. You can use your calculator or your mental math ability to find out this answer. So that is 204. So 34 times 6 is 204. 204 is the lowest common multiple between these two numbers. So some students, when they do the fraction, addition and subtraction, when you need to find a common denominator, which indeed is finding the lowest common multiple between the two denominators, they like to simply multiply the two denominators together. But actually, only you can do that when the two denominators are co-prime, which means when the highest common factor between two denominators is 1, then you can simply multiply these two denominators to calculate their lowest common multiple. Other than that, you have to divide their highest common factor in order to calculate their lowest common multiple. Don't worry if you haven't learned fraction well or forgot what fraction is, how to do fraction, addition, subtraction. I will cover that topic in the future videos. And that is for today. I hope you have learned the concept, understand how to solve the problem, and see you in the next video. Bye.